Students, this is Dr. Vibha Tiwari, Assistant Professor of English, Chaudhary Balluram Godara, Government Girls College, Sri Ganganagar. Students, my previous videos were about the poem The Locksley Hall by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Today also, I am going to continue the same. Let's have today's text. Falser than all fancy fathoms, falser than all songs have sung, puppet to a father's threat and servile to a shrewish tongue. Is it well to wish thee happy, having known me to decline on a range of lower feelings and a narrower heart than mine? Here, the narrator is pained at the fact that his beloved Amy left him because she surrendered herself to the wishes of her father. That means he calls her a coward. So he says, blaming her, he says that falser than all fancy fathoms, that the faithlessness of Amy is beyond the reach of human imagination. Falser than all songs have sung. Just to emphasize this fact, he further says that her faithlessness was incomparable. It cannot be compared with anything. It was falser than any kind of melody. It was beyond the imagination of every human being, how false she was. Calling her a puppet, he says, her father threatened her and she was afraid of that and obeyed him like a slave. She was just a puppet. That means she was a soulless person. She did not care about the feelings of her lover. Servile to a shrewish tongue. That means her mother rebuked her and she obeyed her like a slave and married someone else. She just surrendered herself to the wishes of her parents. And the narrator calls her a puppet. And that means she was as soulless as a puppet. Is it well to wish thee happy? So he's so pained at this fact that he's asking her, is it okay, is it correct if I wish you happiness? You don't have any, you can say, right to ask for such kind of things from me, whom you have left, having known me to decline. He says that she condescended to marry someone who was much inferior than him, on a range of lower feelings and a narrower heart than mine. He says that Amy agreed to marry someone who was far much inferior to him in nobility and generosity of feelings, who would never be able to love her as he had loved her. That's why he calls the heart of that person as narrower heart than mine. So we can say that in this paragraph, narrator is very much pained at this fact that Amy left him for someone else who was far much inferior than him, and she did so because she surrendered herself completely to the wishes of her parents. Yet it shall be, thou shalt lower to his level day by day. What is fine within thee growing coarse, to sympathize with clay? As the husband is, the wife is, thou art mated with a clown, and the grossness of his nature will have weight to drag thee down. Highlighting a fact, he says that with the passage of time, day by day, in her married life, she would decline gradually to the level of her husband. He even says, what is fine within the growing coarse, to sympathize with clay, calling her husband as clay, that means gross and vulgar. Clay here stands for something which is gross, something which is vulgar. He says she would grow coarse and unrefined like her gross and vulgar husband. As the husband is, he simply says her husband is not worthy of having her. And with the passage of time, she herself will lose her charm and she will just be at level with her husband, whom he calls as clay, that means gross and vulgar. As the husband is, the wife is. Just highlighting the fact, he says one tends to be like one's partner. So, if the husband is gross, naturally, with the passage of time, wife will also become gross and vulgar. And this will be true even for Amy also. Thou art mated with a clown. He says, you have been married, that means Amy. Amy has married a clown. That means a vulgar person, a gross and unrefined fool. Clown here has been used in the sense of an unrefined fool. He says, Amy had married a clown, an unrefined person, and the grossness of his nature will have weight to drag thee down. And the nature of her husband is so gross, it's so vulgar, that its grossness will also drag Amy to his own level. That means she is bound to be degraded and she will also grow coarse and vulgar like him. She will be put down to the level of her husband. So here he is just highlighting the fact that one day, with the passage of time, Amy will also be lowered to the level of her husband, and she will lose the charm and you can say the charisma of her character or her personality, and she will also become unrefined like her husband, whom the narrator calls a clown. He will hold thee when his passion shall have spent its novel force, something better than his dog, a little dearer than his horse. What is this? His eyes are heavy, think not they are glazed with wine. Go to him, it is thy duty, kiss him, take his hand in thine. Now, the narrator just draws a picture of the married life of Amy. And as he feels that the husband is vulgar, so he does not paint any rosy picture for her. He says the husband will regard her when the force you can say when the novelty or freshness of the first love are gone, then the husband will regard her just a little better than his dog or horse. That means she will be like an animal in his house. She will be treated no better than an animal, a pet in his house. Once the passions just declines, once the passion declines, the husband will treat Amy no better than a pet. What is this? The heated mind of the lover imagines a domestic scene here in which Amy's vulgar husband returns home, drunk, and she has to wait upon him. What is this? His eyes are heavy. Think not they are glazed with wine. The narrator imagines that when the husband will return back fully drunk, like a dutiful wife, she must not even imagine that his eyes are heavy with drink. Go to him, it is thy duty, kiss him, take his hand in thine. And just like an obedient wife, she will have to abide by the things, whatever her husband expects from him, the physical intimacy and all that. She will have to give him the physical intimacy and as demanded by her husband, because she will have to obey all the orders of her husband, who will treat her no better than an animal. So you can say this particular paragraph highlights the pain of the lover and he has been jilted in love, so he cannot think straight, he cannot think about any positive things for the beloved who had just left him, and he is imagining all sorts of negativity in the married life of his beloved, and he thinks that the husband, who is not a good fellow, will surely ill treat Amy with the passage of time. And even then, after having been treated very, you can say, in a very ill manner by her husband, Amy will have to obey all the orders of her husband like a dutiful wife. So that's all for today. We'll continue the same poem in my next video also.